Hello and welcome. It is a new moon tonight in Gemini, and I'm so excited about this new moon. It's kind of a big deal. There's a lot going on. We're kicking off the summer in about a couple weeks. And this new moon is so important as we are 6 months into 2024 and really kind of asking us to take a step back and ask ourselves, are we in the same space that we were in January of 2024? And if we were looking to make change, what's stopping us? So, welcome today. This is the first time that I'm doing my podcast as a video, and I'm really excited because it is the new moon, and this is something I have been manifesting for a little while. Now I'm in my office, which is another thing that came to me again through manifesting. And the theme that I'm here today to speak to you about is, why are you still playing small? And this is something that really resonates with me because all my life I've had big energy, and there's been key people in my life that kind of tried to push it out of me or make me feel that I was arrogant, too confident, too bold, attention seeking, only because I was just being me. I love to dance. I love to come into a room, and yeah, I like attention because I know that the purpose behind it is to make people feel good. When I come into a room and have big energy, it's not to be egotistical or um, in a prideful way. It's more of a, hey everybody, let's have a good time kind of way. And I feel that since I was a very young girl, I've had this gift of being able to bring people together, to dance, to laugh, to be silly, and open up this energy or this frequency of intimacy that allows people to feel welcome, that allows people to feel like they belong. And the reason why I wanted to talk about playing small is because this new moon is in Gemini, and Gemini is a sign of speaking our truth, expressing our truth through using our voice. And Gemini is also a sign of dualities. And there's always a polarity between expressing ourselves and when we need to pause and listen. Because the only way that we can truly know our higher purpose is when we listen, not to our friends, not to a podcast or social media. There's nothing wrong with listening to things to get ideas and to spark your creativity. But to truly understand what you're here, the energy that you're here to bring to the world, you have to listen. You have to start to look at your life from a bird's eye view. Before I started this podcast, I actually pulled a card, and the card that came up was bird's eye view. I don't know if you can see that, but this is my special deck of cards, my hummingbird cards that, again, I was guided to at a special place that I like to visit called the Mystic Touch, located right in Coventry, Rhode Island. She also has an online shop, so check her out, Mystic Touch. A bird's eye view has been a theme for me since I started this path. Being able to take ourselves out of the picture of our life, almost stepping out of our reality. And the best way that I can relate this feeling is when we're watching a movie and we're caught up in the main character and we're going through all the feels. We're laughing with them, we're anxious with them, we're sad with them, we're joyous with them. But we know we are able to really look at them with an outside perspective because it's not actually us. But sometimes we need to be able to step outside of our own reality and view ourselves as the main character of our life and really ask ourselves, what lights us up? What thing in your life, when you speak about this thing or when you write about this thing, are you transformed into more energy, more joy, more passion? And people kind of notice this about you, like, wow, you're really into this thing. And manifesting with the moon and Reiki healing and meditation is what it is for me. 20 years as a fitness professional, I've been in the light. I've had to really use my voice and command a room, um, be very bold about my intentions of helping people get into the best physical shape of their body and becoming a stronger version of themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, I 100% align with that, and that's a huge piece of who I am because our physical bodies are the gateway to opening up this connection between our higher self so that we can listen to spirit, to guide, to our higher selves, to God. Um, because if you're here on this earth, you have purpose. You have purpose here on earth. And I believe that God put his hands on my shoulders and said, it's time to redirect. And because I'm very stubborn, I have a Taurus rising. Um, Taurus is a fixed sign. It can be very stubborn, very comfortable. It takes a lot sometimes for me to make change in my life. Up until this point, or I should say that up until I started making these changes in my life and aligning with my true purpose, which I truly believe is to use this knowledge that I have gained. And I call it ancient wisdom because this is not knowledge that we learn in school. And that's another theme of this Gemini moon is Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. And the planet Mercury is the planet of communication, the planet of knowledge, and also has the archetype of the wise one, the teacher, the guru. Um, but this particular Gemini moon is calling us to seek knowledge that we cannot find in books, that we are not taught in traditional school systems. It's ancient knowledge, the knowledge of the fact that we have these gifts stored inside our bodies, but we have to reveal them by doing the work. And the work is meditation. The work is Reiki healing. The work is journaling. The work is sitting and pausing and being still, being silent so that we can hear. There's a lot of noise in the world today with social media, the news, gossip. Another low vibrational trait of the Gemini sign is gossip. What are you spreading with your voice? And this new moon is really asking us to pause and notice how we're complaining about our lives, how we're talking about others in a negative light, how we're playing the victim in our lives, wanting more but afraid to take that step and living in a fear mindset instead of leaping with faith. The reason why this system works for me of manifesting with the moon is, to me, I get a new fresh start every 30 days, and I get to look at the energies that are at play here and really work on every aspect and area of my life throughout the year, and it makes life so exciting. And when you start to take that first step into it, it just starts to ebb and flow. And I've been an achiever of things. I've been very committed, persevering, dedicated person. Even through my darkest hours, I just had this fight in me to never give up, which I know is part of my gifts. However, I was filling up my life with exercise. I was exercising so much. I was just go, go, go. I never sat in the quiet. I never sat in the noise. I had a lot of noise and chaos around me. But when this came to me, when I was guided to energy work, to chakras, to Reiki healing, I don't feel like it's work at all. And in fact, I feel a great responsibility to bring this message to everyone that I can, because when I speak about this stuff, it truly lights me up in a whole different way than my fitness profession. But we need both. We need the physical piece, and this is how we keep our body, which is a host for our soul, a home for our soul. We need to keep it in tip-top shape, because without our health, we can only have one goal, and that's to be healthy. With our health, we can have 1,000 goals. This is from the great Buddha. He said, when we have our health, we can only have one goal, and that's to find a way to be healthy. And when we when we don't have our health, I'm sorry, I messed that one up. When we have our health, we can have 1,000 goals. But when we don't have our health, we can only have one goal, and that is to get healthy. Think about how you feel when you have a cold. The world stops, and all you care about is getting better. You're not thinking about being productive and going to the gym and doing all things. No, you're just thinking about getting in bed and getting over whatever the sickness is. And this is why this has been such a natural extension of what I do, moving into this realm of subtle body work, because I already work with the body. And I've been such a passionate advocate for women, especially moms. I've always said to people that I knew were becoming new moms, always remember that as much as you're becoming a mom and stepping into this new role, you're Jackie first, or whatever the person's name was. Because at the end of the day, we are on a soul journey. And if we lose ourselves in the role of being a mother, a spouse, a coworker, a friend, whatever it is, we lose the ability to hear what our true purpose is. And I was deaf for 42 years. I shouldn't say deaf. I had my hearing aids turned on so that I could hear pieces. I knew I was meant to lead, but I was deaf to what my truest purpose was. And this was to really start to reach my hand out as a guide to help women and men, I should just say human beings, start the first step on the journey back to themselves. And that truly is what Sweat and Surrender is, my new business. It is allowing people to get back to their roots, get back to the things in their life that truly resonate with them and are not needs and desires of others around us, to compromise, to make peace, and to just yes people to death. A big theme of this new moon is the duality between our internal and external truth. So, how many times in our lives, and specifically, Gemini rules the third house. So, this is all to do with the people in our everyday lives, the communication between people that we are affiliated with on a daily basis. So, close, immediate family, coworkers, friends, people that you see on a daily basis. And are you expressing yourself honestly? Um, Brutal honesty is a huge theme coming through, because if people are making you feel anxious or shamed or manipulated into doing things, and you're just saying yes because you don't want to deal with the consequences, you're just giving yourself physical, this is going to result in more stress, and this is going to result in physical ailments. Reiki healing allows us to start to open up this gate to boldly step out into our truth. And we start to it's almost like we begin to form this bubble around us that protects us and shields us, because we don't need the support of the people in our lives, because we have the support from the spiritual realm, a spiritual realm that when you feel this calling to do God's work or your true purpose in life, it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you, because you are going to become a newer version of yourself, and it's going to look much different than the version that you were before. The moment that you step over that line and decide that you are going to be brutally honest with who you are and who you are going to be, and express your truth and use your voice, is the moment that you will not care what anyone else thinks, because the people that you are meant to impact, the people that you are meant to guide, will start to come around. And those people will accept you, and they will only know you as this new version of yourself. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel to step out of your comfort zone and start on this path back to yourself, because there's so many people out there. There's tons of Reiki healers. There's tons of people doing this work that I'm doing. But no one's going to do it like me, because I'm 100% unique, and I was born into this world with my own genetic coding that nobody Nobody in this world has. And so are you. So this new moon is a celebration to invite us all to really take a hard look and pause, and ask ourselves, are we being responsible with the way we express our truth? What messages are we sending to our children when we decide to compromise and tuck our tail between our legs and put our head down and yes, and totally go against what we're feeling here? What message are we sending? What message are we sending when we lose ourselves in the roles that we play, the relationships that we're in, and deny the pieces of us that attract the true people that are supposed to be around us? Because when we truly allow ourselves to stand in our truth and go against the grain, no matter what anyone thinks, something happens, something shifts. And there's actual physical research about the thymus gland, which is our immune system and anti-aging benefits. Because when we truly step into the light of who we were born to be, it's just this overwhelming warmth that fills your body, and the light that lives inside of you it brightens up. And a good friend of mine, she knows who she is if she watches this, used to always tell me that something, she used to always say, I don't know, I just feel like this dims your light. And ever since I stepped out of my comfort zone, because that's where life begins, on the other side of our comfort zone, I feel like my light's so bright. And the reason why I started this name, I'm calling this podcast, Why Are You Still Playing Small, is because there's this fear of, what are people going to think of ourselves when we put ourselves out there? Are they going to think that we're, egotistical, overly confident, arrogant, narcissistic, whatever words you want to put out there, attention seeking? The difference is yes, there are people out there putting themselves out there for those reasons. But for this purpose, the reason that I'm putting myself out there is because the way I feel since I started this work is indescribable. And I want to share it with as many people that I can, because I know what it can do for people when they're ready to step into this light. And I feel very blessed. And I know that my sister, who is no longer here with us, is here with me for this journey. And unfortunately, sometimes in life, really hard things have to happen to shock us, to look at our life from a bird's eye view. And I had to lose my sister in 2021 to be really shifted. And I do believe that she's on the other side doing great work. And I think she's part of this. And that's how I look at her death. So I don't look at her death in vain. I feel she was called back because she had work to do on the other side. And I truly believe that every single one of us has great purpose. And if you're here for a reason. And I just want to express again, why are we playing small? Because it's easy to coast through life and just kind of go through the to-do list of our lives and just settle or compromise as to what we're doing. And that might feel okay. If all your survival needs are met and you're coasting and you have a good life, that might feel okay. But if there's still this lack of joy, this lack of energy, or you're thriving on gossip, you're thriving on social media, or things that are giving you this boost, alcohol, whatever it is that you're using to kind of get to that next step, like you're doing okay, but you need this, and this to get through to that next place. This is where this work comes in, because once you shift and you really align with what you're meant to do in life, you will be just compelled to really just follow through. And putting yourself out there, the more you do it, it just starts to become natural. Because when you're heart marketing yourself, meaning that you're marketing yourself per place of love rather than ego or just trying to get money or manipulating people, falsely advertising yourself. When you're doing those things, yeah, that comes from a place of ego and pride. But when you're heart marketing and you're selling something to bring more love and light to the world, this is a beautiful thing. And both my businesses, I do this. I'm selling physical fitness to empower women, and I say women because 99% of my clients are women, but men too. I do have a few men that come to Crush. Empowering people to be a better version of themselves, to keep promises to themselves, to let them know that every single day that they walk out of Crush Fitness Studios, I tell them, I've been saying to them at that last end of the class, I hope that you're expressing feelings of gratitude for every exercise that we're doing here today, because every exercise that you're doing here today is the reason why you're going to walk out of this class this much stronger or this much badass than when you walked in the door. And that is 100% true. And I am in awe and amazed at my clientele. They are absolutely amazing at Crush Fitness Studios. And this next journey that I'm on with my second business with Sweat and Surrender is, I'm really just at the beginning of it, because I know it's going to unlock magical doors for me and for everyone that comes to me. So I hope that you are listening to this, and if this is resonating with you in any way, if you're interested in learning how to work with the moon, I just put out my first moon course where you will receive information on how to use the energy of the new moon, how to ground into it, essential oils, crystals, meditative practices to help you settle into your body, to open up these gateways to listen to your higher self. And I also recorded a video of myself screen sharing this information to go through it with you and explain it in a little more depth. So I'm working right now on more and more ways to add to this moon course. And
Eric Denold or Eric
and I'm excited to bring this to you. So happy manifesting, happy new moon, and I will speak to you on my next podcast. So stop playing small and take your first step of action. Have a great day.